Last installment of the end of the year horoscopes, relevant for your sun, moon, but especially your rising sign. Without further ado, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, I'm here for you, baby. Virgo, I think that you have been over functioning in 2025. You've been literally walking around on like 2 times speed. It's like you are over fixating, you are over analyzing. And with the end of the year, it's going to be really important for you to release all of these loose ends that you have collected over the past year. Okay? And I think, Virgo, you have also been misplacing a lot of responsibility and maybe externalizing a lot of responsibility. I think, Virgo, you've been trying to keep yourself busy this year to maybe distract you from something that feels just a little bit off. And I think next year is going to be quietly clicking some of those things into place in the background. And it's going to be very satisfying. Virgo, you have been carrying the burden of the South Node being in your sign, okay? So as you go into 2026, this is a reminder for you that things can work out without your supervision, without your micromanaging. There are certain things that are better left unsaid. There are things that are better left buried. There are things that you don't actually want the answers to, and you're saying that you want the answers to, but it actually is going to disturb your peace. It's not going to make you feel safe. It's just going to encourage you to keep digging your own grave. 2026 is going to be making you realize how to get the fuck out of your mind and get back into your body, right? Get out of your mind, get out of your fucking head. Okay. I think that you've been maybe over strategizing, Virgo, potentially. And next year, Virgo, is going to be your time to kind of just understand how rest can be just as productive as productivity. I think, Virgo, you might have this year been indulging in kind of a false sense of control, the illusion of control. And now 2026 is making you realize like what it really means to surrender, what it really means. You're stepping back and you're kind of like, okay, I'm going to stop forcing certain things, right? And if you forcing something makes it go away, it wasn't ever really strong to begin with. And if you going after your ambition, your dreams, doing the things that you really want to be doing, makes certain people disappear, like that wasn't really meant for you to begin with. And there's something very satisfying about that. There's something very hopeful about that, because now you realize when you're in the places that you're meant to be in, that is how you find your tribe, right? That is how you find the people that are really meant to be around you. So I think maybe 2025 felt like the losses may have been painful. Maybe there were things that you let go of or were taken from you that you didn't really want to give up. But I think next year is going to be making you realize it's going to give you that 2020 hindsight, right? And I think there is going to be a lot of liberation for you next year, Virgos. A huge sense of freedom, a huge sense of relief. And now that you have finally rid yourself of the parasite, you can finally breathe again. And there is just a vastness of 2026 of potential and possibility that exists for you, Virgo. And there's so many things you can do. And the great thing about it is I imagine it as kind of like a 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands energy. And what I mean by that is that all you need to do is make the decision. And once you've made the decision, that is how the domino effect begins. Once you decide to see things from this point of view, and that is what you are committed to, everything else is just going to naturally fall into place, Virgo. So next year is going to be refining a lot of things for you. And it's going to be like you get to just kind of sit back and watch everything click, finally. Libra, I think this year was the first year in a long time that you've actually felt very disruptive, right? Like, you actually really did not give a fuck this year. This year pushed you to a place where you were like, you kind of snapped a little bit. And you don't need to have any embarrassment with that, Libra. This year was a huge part of your character development. And you should be nothing but proud of yourself. Pat yourself on the fucking back, Libra. I think Libra this year really forced you to face your fucking truth. And if you didn't face your truth, then it almost felt like you were almost like stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, you were almost like immediately facing karma for that. So 2025 was pushing you to a place where you're like really embodying and living in your truth, no matter who that bothers. And it's been about realizing that you can never make everyone happy. You can never please everybody. So you might as well do whatever the fuck you want to be doing. You know what I mean? And I think this year for you is kind of a bit humbling in the sense, Libra, where it's like, even if you try your best, sometimes it still doesn't work out, honestly. And what you can take away from that is like, at least you tried your best. And that's something that you can be proud of. Be proud of like how you are showing up, how you are approaching, because eventually it always comes back. And I think that 2026 is going to be a lot of those manifestations kind of echoing back to you. 2025 was a reminder to not erase yourself and to not allow yourself to fade away. Okay? I think next year is going to definitely be a lot of plot twists. I think it's definitely going to be redefining, what peace and harmony actually looks like for you. It's going to be redefining what balance looks like for you. And what it looks like is like sometimes the peace only can come after the tower moment. The peace can only come after the plot twist and the shakeup. Here is really going to be a rebranding moment for you. So get ready, get your scissors ready, get your glue ready. Get ready to do some projects because 2026 is going to be a very experimental year for you. Scorpio, this year was a time to reconnect with your inner mystic. I think Scorpios have felt like maybe they lost their intuition a little bit, or they forgot it, or they forgot how to listen to it. And 2025 has allowed them to reconnect with that inner mystic. And I think it's also helped them regain the ability to trust the unseen, okay? Scorpio, you are leaving behind stagnation and self-denial, okay, in 2025. You're leaving it behind. You're letting it die. You are retiring it. You're exiting that type of shit, okay? You are thawing the ice and you are melting into 2026 and you are ready to kind of embrace the moment that you have been waiting for. I think 2025 has maybe felt like a lot of waiting, and next year is going to be like, okay, no more waiting. It's time to act on these desires. And I think, change is a constant for Scorpio. Next year is going to be about you realizing like you don't have to test things before you do it, right? You don't need to put yourself through that. You don't need to put other people through that, okay? You can just give yourself to the process. And it's going to be about you learning how next year to show up at 100% and really being devoted to something and giving yourself fully into that process without the transactions, completely unconditionally. And it's going to be you giving yourself into something fully vulnerable. So this could be in a relationship. This could be through your art or creative expression. This could be maybe through your profession, within your friendships, okay? Just fully putting yourself out there and not having really any regrets about it. I think that Scorpio has been really scared of this and has kind of been identifying themselves in like a healing era in 2025. And it's like, okay, well, like there's only so much healing you can do on your own. And 2026 is like, okay, it's time to start healing via connection and healing via vulnerability. And you can really only do that when you aren't afraid to give up something else. So Scorpio, you are giving up the mysterious act and the elusive act, leaving it behind in 2025. 2026 is going to be very juicy for you, Scorpio. It's going to be very, very juicy. It's going to be very delicious and delectable. But only if you take the fucking bite. Don't just leave it on the table and stare at it. You have to take the fucking bite. This year is your action season. So you know the fucking drill.